Hi, and welcome to Integrative Wisdom by Verna Fisher. If this is Integrative Wisdom video day, it must be a Tuesday. Welcome. I thought I would tackle kind of a biggie today in a lot of conversations that I have out there in the world. One of the situations that arise often, and even within my own life, is that sense of anxiety that can come on us and really wreak havoc with our day. And not only with our day, but with our body and with our ability to cope with things that arise throughout the day. So I thought that we would take an integrative wisdom approach, body, mind, spirit, and soul, and see what we come up with. And as always, this is not to take anyone away from their medical or mental health providers. It is simply a way to augment or add to what you might currently be using as a tool to assist and help. All right. So with anxiety, the first probably piece of knowledge would be, do you know the reason? Do you know the cause of the anxiety? Is there an actual event or occurrence that is taking place or that will take place that you are worried about? And it comes out in the form of that anxiousness, that anxiety, that pervading sense of doom, and the hyperarousal and all the things that go with it. Do you know? Is there a root cause? Or is it more of a generalized anxiety and angst about things in your world or the larger world? So again, as in so many things, and probably everything really with integrative wisdom, the first step is to stop. Is to stop and to begin to reflect and to determine if you are willing to take a few minutes to look at your anxiety, right? And ask yourself a few questions. So is it a real threat or is it a perceived threat? Because obviously if there's something real that is a danger to you or those you love, then there are more concrete steps that would need to be taken, right? But if it's perceived, if you're just not sure, if you don't know what's going to happen and you feel anxious about it, then that is a little bit different because there's no tiger in front of you ready to pounce. It just seems like there's the tiger. Okay, so that's that first step, is to really kind of dig in there with the anxiety and ask it a few questions. Yeah, why are you here? What's up with you, anxiety? Are you my friend or my foe? Right? So you begin to ask those questions. Okay, anxiousness, tell me a little bit about you. Is it about you when you talk to this anxiety, or is it about someone else, maybe someone you love, or maybe even the bigger picture in the world, the anxiousness that you feel? Sometimes we can take on those major events, aspects, the coronavirus, global warming. There's a lot of different things that people may decide that is one of their concerns in the world, but unfortunately they're not finding ways to cope with it and work with it in a positive way, and instead it comes out in that anxiety, which is not in your mind. It is a bodily how could I say it's not in your mind, because I say it's all in one, but it is a felt sense. Anxiety works out through the nervous system, and we feel it throughout our whole being. Anyone who's ever had an anxiety attack or a panic attack, as they are sometimes called, we're aware of how pervasive the symptoms are. Yeah, I've had two in my life, and they were actually related to a thyroid condition, so it was a hormonal thing, but it helped me it helped me have so much empathy for those who tell me that they have those kind of routinely or normally in their life. And so they suffer. Okay, we suffer when we have an anxiety attack. So today is to try to help us find ways to move through that, right, in an integrative wisdom way. So that's the first thing, right? Is to try to seek the wisdom um, of the actual purpose or reason, not a purpose, a reason for the anxiety. Okay, and then we talked about chakras last week. The idea that there are energy centers in the body that are correlated to different aspects of our well-being. And so one of the things that we can do is to, when we sense that anxiety, is to stop, ask that question, but then to find out where am I feeling it? I mean, I can probably tell my heart is racing. I can tell that my hands or palms are sweaty. I might have a headache. There just might be so many symptoms to this anxiousness. So to stop and to put your feet on the floor, and this is just one way, right? It's not the only way. And to close your eyes and take a moment and really breathe as well as you can with everything that's going on, and take a breath and find out if there is a place within your body where you feel it the most. Okay, where you feel it the most. And so if it's in your belly, if it's in your chest, if it's in your heart, if it's in your head, take a moment and place your hands on that place in your body and put a little bit of pressure there. So it's almost like a containment, like a cocoon. I've heard of those heavy blankets, and they're supposed to make people feel better. Well, I think this is that same idea. It's like wrapping ourselves in a nice, safe hug. And that's that first step, is to find out, okay, where am I feeling it? Okay, let me send some, and I'm pushing here, holding myself, tightening. It's a tightening in this moment. And breathing. And I can feel my heart racing, and I can feel the blood flowing, and I can feel it rising up in my belly. And I just send that, okay, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. Whatever message it is in that moment, but we want to connect to our body, okay? We want to connect to our body and give it a little love. Now, the other aspect of this is that we can also choose to try to shake it out, just to move a little bit. And so it's like, okay, I'm anxious. My body is kind of revved up anyway, so why not let me try to shake it through? Shake a leg, baby, shake a leg, shake an arm. And as you're breathing, okay, it's okay. I'm fine. I'm safe. Okay, okay, shake, 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 shake. And one of the things that I learned from Jean Houston, which I thought was really, really interesting, you can look her up. She's one of my mentors. You can use the memory of a happy time as you shake it out. And so you're shaking your arm, you're shaking your arm, you're shaking your legs, you're shaking your your booty or your body. You're like, oh man, remember that time I was at the beach? I was so happy. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. And the waves, they were like the perfect size. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That's a couple things you can do with your body during an anxiety attack. Okay. And then we go to the mind. Okay. Now the mind is, the ego gets to come out through the mind, and the ego always wants to protect us, and the ego thinks it knows best, but it may not. Okay, and so what we want to do is we want to ask ourselves, how am I looking at my anxiety? Is it such an important part of who I am that I can't imagine myself without my anxiety? It's like my little buddy on my shoulder. It gets me out of things when I don't really want to do them. It protects me, because then I get to go inside a little bubble and just kind of stay there. I don't have to face the world when I'm in a anxiety attack. I don't know what your mind is telling you at this moment when You suddenly sense that the anxiety is rising within you. So you may be able to, if you choose to practice this, you may be able to come up with a mantra that you can speak out during this anxious time. Um, you may say, um, "Hey, I'm fine. Hey, I'm fine. No, really, I'm fine." Whatever it might be, but you might need to talk to yourself a little bit here, and really again kind of go through the layers of the past. Again, if we're not in the present moment, it could be something from a long, long time ago that you really, really don't need anymore, and that you can work to let go. And it's not through just a talking cure, but it really is, again, that felt sense, that physical sense, that sense of your mind having a greater wisdom. Mind, do I need this anxiety to feel safe in the world? Do I need this anxiety to be my best self in the world? Is it serving me a purpose right now? If not, let me let it go. Let me move through my anxiety. Okay? Spirit. This is where your beliefs come into play, where you have that sense of connection to something bigger than you. And so, depending on who you are, you may have a prayer that you can speak out loud and offer up. I offer this up, but I ask to be released from it. I ask to be released from this anxiety. You may choose you may choose to say, I am loved, I am safe, something of that nature. And as you're doing it, you are breathing, you are releasing, you are letting go, both on a mental level and on that physical level. And now we're bringing in that idea of spirit, that there is more to it, more to it. And so I pray, release, let me be relieved of this anxiety. I am safe. I am in the warm embrace of the divine. God has me wrapped in a tight hug, and I am safe. And then we have soul. And so on a soul level, is there a message here for me? Is there something that I need to know? What might be the purpose of this anxiety that I'm feeling? Is it trying to help me get to the bottom of something so that I can move it, let it go? Is it trying to guide me so that I can take the next steps that I need to take because I'm sick and tired of being anxious? Is it a challenge because I've been too complacent in my life and allowed things to just kind of go along without me really, really, really giving it my attention? Okay. Sometimes we can get a little bit sloth-like. We love sloths, right? But evidently they kind of go through life pretty laid back. You would think a sloth might never have an anxiety attack. I don't know. But if your soul is trying to reach you to tell you you have more on your plate in this life, you are needed in this life, and so suddenly you're not doing it and an anxiety might appear. It might be a message to move you. Maybe, you know. Unfortunately, there's no crystal ball. Again, there's no crystal ball to tell us exactly. And so we need to do the work. And lastly, this may be a way to help you as well with anxiety, rather than saying, I had an anxiety attack, I'm feeling anxious today. It's like, oh, you know what? I was given an opportunity today. I had a gift come to me today, this gift of anxiety to move me and to guide me and to help me get to a different place or a different level. It may be that you could say, what are the words I used? Instead of an annoyance, it could be an opportunity. a challenge, a gift. It's just a bump in the road. It's not going to be with me forever. It's here to help me. And so I'm going to show up to it. I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to have a conversation with it. I'm going to use my body to help me. I'm going to use my mind to reframe it, to think about it differently. I'm going to use my connection to a divine power, to a source that's beyond me. And I am going to imagine that there is a purpose that I can tap into, that I need to release this. I need to let it go so that I can move forward. Whatever that anxiety is hiding, the veil, right? The anxiety, in other ways, the anxiety is the veil that's covering something that needs to be let go of, or tended to, or loved. We need to love ourselves. So I hope this was helpful. Again, it's a short version, even though it's, see here, 16 minutes. This is the longest video I've done. And yet, anxiety is such a real affliction, and it impedes us. And it is such a deep desire of mine to be of service, to help us let go of those impediments. We want to sing our song. We want to be fully in the world. We want to engage with all of the gifts that we are, so that we can share them with others. So there you go. That's our integrative wisdom for this day. Much love. Let me know if you have any questions, as always, and take care. Bye-bye.